Have you ever met somebody who completely changed their life? Maybe they lost 80 pounds, they started a business, moved across the country, moved to a different country, got into incredible shape, built an amazing relationship, and you look at them and you think, damn, like what happened to you? He completely changed, went through a drastic transformation. Most people immediately look at what changed on the outside. Their habits changed, their body changed, their money changed, their confidence changed. But I think there's something deeper underneath all of that. At some point, they stopped seeing themselves as that old person. Their identity changed. Different decisions started making sense, different behaviors became normal, different standards became acceptable. Today, gentlemen, we are going to discuss the identity advantage, why you can't outperform who you believe you are. Sometimes the most important question is, who do I need to become? That's the identity shift. We are having our Colombia meetup in October. We are doing Cartagena from October the 3rd to October 11th. So this is going to be an entire week where we're going to get together. There's going to be a total of 8 nights in Cartagena, Colombia. The main benefit of coming out to this trip is that you are going to have a stronger brotherhood. We're going to build real connections with like-minded men from all around the world. A lot of our guys are in South America, in the States, and Asia. Our workshops is where a lot of the value is going to come from. We are going to discuss international living, physique and performance, image, presence, and personal power, social dynamics, and dating abroad. There's limited spots, guys. If you're interested, fill out the form. It's linked in the bottom of this video, or shoot me a DM on Instagram. This is my Instagram here, Images Power. Shoot me a DM and I can get you on the list. But let's go ahead and jump into it. The identity advantage, why you can't outperform who you believe you are. So what is identity? Identity is the internal story you carry about yourself. It's not your job, it's not your income, not how many followers you have on Instagram or Facebook, or even your status. It shapes your actions and decisions on a day-to-day basis. We tend to behave in ways that feel consistent with who we believe we are. These stories are running your life, whether it's conscious or subconsciously. Things that were programmed by our parents, teachers, rejection, failure, environments. A lot of these events become labels. Labels eventually become identities. So an example of this would be you're in high school, you get rejected by a girl, and then after that, you start believing that you are not good with women, you can't talk to women, and you start to automatically place that temporary failure as a label. And temporary failure should never be automatically seen as permanent identities, but a lot of times that's what we do. That's the mistake that we fall into. So there's a couple of identity traps that we need to avoid. The top 5 identity traps is the past, the labels that you give yourself, other people's stories, a fake identity, and the comfort identity. Starting off with the past. This is when you constantly look back and you look at a moment of failure and you think to yourself, like, I've always been like this. The past defines my future. And it's like I said, it's like you go through a failure. Maybe you try to start a business. It doesn't work out the first time around. You already are using that past to justify future ventures, meaning that you think that you are not an entrepreneur, that you can't start a business, that you can't make money. You're allowing the past to hold you back. And the cost of that is that it keeps you from evolving. The second trap is labels. I have a lot of great guys that I work with, and a lot of times what I've noticed is that they put labels on themselves. They put self-limiting labels. For example, you could be an engineer and you think that just because you're an engineer that you lack social skills, that you can't get out of your comfort zone, that you won't ever develop those social skills. And those are just labels at the end of the day. It's like you're thinking, I'm shy, I'm an introvert, I can't go get out there. I don't train 5-6 times a week, so I'm not athletic. Those labels, what they do is that they are self-limiting, but they become prisons. They limit you to a certain vision for who you can actually become. I have a lot of younger cousins and I mentor them from time to time, and they tell me things like that, like, man, like, I'm not used to doing this. I can't go out and talk to girls. It's just who I am. And what I'm thinking in the back of my head is like, man, you're just placing a label on yourself. It's normal for you when you start to not be this proficient expert at something that you're trying. It takes time to get to that point. So those labels just stop you from even attempting to become better. The third trap is other people's stories. So this would be from your parents, from teachers that you had in your past, maybe some friends. You're living someone else's story. This is a big one to watch out for. And it's more insidious because, for example, if you have parents that maybe they didn't encourage you, they didn't motivate you, they wanted to keep you in a certain career, a certain job, a certain path, you start to live according to their ideals. And at the end of the day, it's not your life. It's not what you want for yourself. Another one could be friends. So I remember back in college, when I was back in Texas, I had a friend, right? Because we were in the same program together. And I don't really consider him my friend because looking back at it, like he was very negative. But I remember back then we had a trip to Japan. We won a trip to Japan. Our college won a trip, our program. And this guy would always say like negative shit, bro. Like he would always say like, dude, like you're never gonna go to Japan. If it wasn't for this trip, you wouldn't have come to Japan. This is gonna be like the only time that you're gonna be coming out here. And then fast forward a couple years, I've traveled all over South America. I've been to Asia, been to multiple countries already. And if I would have let that negative talk hold me down, I would have felt trapped to other people's stories, right? Because he was telling me that I was never gonna be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to travel, be financially free. And that's what other people try to instill, right? There's always going to be people that are going to challenge your viewpoint. They're going to challenge your potential. And you need to have the frame to know that you can accomplish whatever you want. The fourth trap is fake identity. So this is pretending to be someone that you're not. And the cost of that is exhaustion, right? Because when you have a fake identity, if you're living for approval, meaning you want to satisfy other people around you, you don't get to come out of your shell. You don't get to unravel who you truly are. That's why I think it's very important to travel and to see the world for yourself, see different perspectives. You had more moments to yourself where you can ask yourself the deeper questions. The fifth trap is the comfort identity, where you're comfortable, you're getting too comfortable. There's a great scene in Batman. I forgot which exact movie, but it's with Bane. When Bane tells Batman something along the lines of victory has made you comfortable, it's made you satisfied, it's made you weaker. That's what comfort does to you, is that when you're comfortable, good enough becomes permanent. You stay average. You stay satisfied. And that's a trap because you don't ever want to be satisfied. You want to keep evolving. You start to leave yourself more vulnerable and exposed to more gaps. And that one's a tough one, bro. This is the one that you need to always constantly change, because I started seeing this when I began traveling, got to another country, things were cheaper, started getting into pretty good shape, and I would let my training go down. I would let my ambition to make more money go down. Also with dating, it became easier to date because I was in a different country. I was a foreigner, and you have like that exotic factor to you. So you start to get more comfortable and you don't excel. You're comfortable in that cycle. Even if you start progressing, you get to a solid point, you get comfortable. At least that's what I've noticed, that you start to get comfortable and you're not progressing to new levels. When you change your identity, you start to change the way that you move. The first step for the identity upgrade is to choose your identity. Decide who you want to become and create a new internal story. The result is direction and purpose. So if you want to become a fighter, start thinking that you are a fighter, that you're going to be showing up to the gym, you're going to be training, buy yourself some new MMA gear, some new boxing gear. You can start brainwashing your identity. That's why I think like the saying, fake it till you make it, I think in a lot of ways it's actually effective. And in some ways you do have to fake it till you make it, right? You have to fucking brainwash yourself that that's the person that you are. The second step is to align your actions. So what would that man do? Daily habits that match. Go up to the gym 3-4 times a week, train MMA, train Muay Thai, lift weights. That consistency begins to compound. The third step is to rewire your mind. Replace old stories by using new affirmations and also having proof. It's going to start reinforcing your beliefs, and you're also going to start developing new affirmations, because once you get to a month of training, you're going to think to yourself, man, I can actually do this. Maybe actually I should get into competition and show that I have the skills. And that's just going to keep pushing you to the next level. The fourth step is to become that person. Act first. Identity follows. Action, action, action. Just put in the steps. That momentum is what's going to start forging the identity. The identity will begin to follow. The final step is to attract a new life, making better decisions, better relationships, better opportunities. The result is freedom and fulfillment. So actually attracting that new life for you, putting yourself in the right places at the right time, hitting the gym consistently, going out, socializing, networking events, meeting new people. That's why our Cartagena trip is going to be perfect for that, because we're going to have like-minded guys together, high-performing guys that actually live it. A lot of the guys that are going to be coming out actually have the receipts, and that's the type of people that you want to be around, because their habits, their identity, their energy is going to be transferred to you. I've seen this throughout my life. Loss, discomfort, travel, boxing. I lost my dad when I was around 23. That was probably the biggest wake-up call for me, because at that point, I realized that I needed to, one, get on my shit, but I couldn't let my dad down. It's one of those moments in life that really humble you, and it makes you very hyper aware of where you need to grow. Traveling has really changed it, because as I started traveling, I started realizing that it doesn't really matter, bro. Like people don't really care too much about what you're doing. And life is very short, where you have to take more risks. Nothing is guaranteed. And that's actually very powerful, because it makes you not take things for granted, right? If time is moving, we're all going to the same spot, we're all gonna die eventually. But it makes you think, like, I have to get this done now. I have to put it into action right now. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like at the end of the day, we're all going to the same place. We're all going to die. So fuck it, just take the risk. And also on the note of traveling is that it gives you a lot of confidence, because you start to believe and rely more on yourself. When you start traveling, you get to another country, you realize really fast how to move in that country, right? You have to learn the language, you have to learn where you're going to be staying, where you can get food, just how to move efficiently within that country. And when you start to do it, it builds that confidence of knowing that you can take care of business anywhere that you find yourself. So that's what's very powerful about traveling. Choose who you're actually becoming. Act in alignment, repeat, collect receipts. One bad day is not a personality trait. If you get rejected by one girl one day, it doesn't mean that you suck with game, with talking to women. It just means that that one day didn't work out, right? Like you're still gonna have a lot more opportunities. Don't let one negative event become a permanent identity. That's the identity framework. Ask yourself, who am I becoming? Define your future self. Get crystal clear. It's very important to get clear on what you want, guys. You can't be all over the place, sporadic with who you want to become. If you want to become a fighter, pick that, then get even more granular. You want to become a boxer, start training boxing, get into a boxing gym, train 2 to 3 times a week. Then ask yourself, does this choice strengthen or weaken that identity? Every choice votes for your future. And finally, if I repeated today for 5 years, who would I become? Those small actions is what compounds. We all have to go through a reality check. Look at what you did your last 30 days. If a stranger saw only the evidence, what identity would they say you're building? If they saw your money habits, they saw your screen time, the workouts that you did, how much sleep you got, the calendar, the people that you're associating with, what would that say about you? The strongest transformation doesn't begin when your circumstances change. It begins when your identity changes. If you believe that you can accomplish something, if you believe that you are the fucking man, then your identity is going to follow. But if you have those self-limiting beliefs, if you have those labels, you're always going to stay limited, a prisoner to those labels. You need to break out of that shit and start changing your identity and believing that you're the fucking man. So like I mentioned, we will be having our meetup in Cartagena, Colombia in October. Fill out that form, shoot me a DM. I'm more than happy to send you the information. Also, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm currently doing one-on-one coaching with a group of guys. We get together every single week. We have 12 sessions and we work on transforming your identity, working on your image, your style, your frame, presence, dating, whatever it is, I can get you in the right direction. As always, stay fresh, upgrade that identity, see yourself as the fucking man, and stay confident. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.